welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
So this is us being very, very naughty.
Yes.
They're doing super important official things with
They're recording
very,
a podcast
very
with some serious business people.
But we have an episode to deliver to you guys.
We're busy, man.
We don't care. Like I'm magnificent bastards who want to hear about a review for some whiskey that you.
We don't care about you and your $1 million businesses.
You could probably never buy the whiskey, but who cares? let's get into it.
This is from Harry Falkenberg.
Harry Falkenberg, you magnificent.
Okay, this is Pinhook Bourbon.
Yes.
Now, Pinhook is a company that started doing. So, Pinhook, I've learned, is a horse racing expression.
Sure.
Right, and it has to do with
Pinhook?
purchasing a young, promising horse.
Okay.
That turns out,
Is it known as a pinhook?
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, it's pinhooking, or pinhook, when you purchase a young horse that you think is going to have potential, and then you sit on him and don't let him race until he's ready.
Oh.
Which you can see right?
Okay.
So they're sourcing, I think this is MGP.
Sure.
It doesn't say, but they're using the Castle and Key distillery to do all their bottling.
Sure. So, you brought up something that I've always been kind of curious about. My grandfather was into horses. Mm-hmm. He bred horses, award-winning in his scene, and this whole racehorse thing.
Yeah,
like it's so much history and tradition, and all of these kind of like special approaches to a horse and when and how to introduce it to competition. Like that, even that right there is very interesting. Where you have something that has beautiful genetics, but you're not even going to allow yourself a glimmer of what the potential is until a certain age, because it's going to basically, I don't know, screw up joints, ligaments, muscle. I don't know. That's just interesting.
And that's very much like a whiskey, right? So these guys were blending bourbon and rye. They were sourcing things and waiting until they were ready and then putting them out. They're working with Castle Key. Castle Key's distilling for them now. Okay. This is the Bourbon Country release. 47.75% crop fall of 2018.
Okay. So relatively young.
Yep, and right in the nose.
It's not like bursting, jumping out of the glass, right? Mm-hmm. It's not leaping forth with a tremendous amount of intensity, but there's some nice sweet flavors in there. Let's see what
I don't know how old it is, by the way.
Okay, so what did you said numbers?
That's when they bottled it.
That's when they bottled it. All right. I should listen, but that's not going to happen. Age 3 years or more. That's what it says.
Okay.
Age 3 years or more in new charred oak barrels.
Or more. But that just means the youngest one, like a Scotch label, the youngest one was 3, but there might have been some older barrels in there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is going down as a really well-chosen, balanced MGP.
Also young.
And a little bit shiny.
Relatively young.
Mm-hmm. But not abrasive or sharp.
Yeah, it doesn't get that little kind of ethanol ding where there's just like an alcoholic burn and no flavor there. There's always flavor there, but it flavor feels like it's... what proof is this? It feels like it's going to be 47.75.
This is a much higher proof than it tastes.
Yeah.
Until spread it around your mouth, then it explodes.
The proof shows up.
And all of the wood notes appear.
Now, if you're looking for like deep, vibrant, rich, saturated flavors, no, not here. But if you're looking for like something that's going to be fairly traditional and classic with this brown sugar sweetness,
and the light sparkle,
not dark, deep, heavy brown sugar, but just kind of like the lighter end of the brown sugar sweetness, a little bit,
almost like a
little light and effervescent,
champagne.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean, like light and effervescent there.
Yeah,
and then a little bit of honey, and I think the finish for me is going to be it's going to be a little bit of the dry barrel note.
Yeah,
and a little bit of like a cherry caramel.
Let's move on to our final.
Well, I'm not going to say I like it. I say I appreciate some things that are happening here. I think it could turn into something much more interesting and beautiful
with time.
With more time.
Yeah.
But I think I appreciate the direction that it's headed in.
Yes.
In and of itself, there's going to be a lot more things I'm reaching for.
I agree.
Before that.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
To a gift from Kat Rajni and Shane Jeffcoat, who are our patron saints. This is, you see what this is called?
Yes, this is a Gray Skies Breakfast Bourbon. We were just talking about We were just talking about breakfast whiskeys.
I know.
Like yesterday.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Grand Rapids Gray Skies Distillery.
Okay.
They make several. They make a rye, bourbon. They make gin. They make a whole bunch of different stuff.
Sure. So I'm
But
gonna.
this is finished in.
I'm gonna talk in my normal voice until they tell us to be quiet.
Yeah, this is finished in maple syrup barrels.
So we recently had.
yes, we did.
And oh, by the way, the distiller for
Yeah,
that.
they reached out and said
They
thank you.
showed up in the Facebook group. So, in the Whiskey Tribe Facebook group, I learned this relatively recently. The number of distillers from distilleries all over the world that are just showing up in the group, hanging out,
But not saying anything.
never saying anything, just hanging out with the MBs. This is a huge number.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kudos to them for just not showing up and just pimping their whiskey hardcore.
Absolutely.
The only reason this guy mentioned it
That's
is because we did a review and he was like, hey, they reviewed our whiskey. So that's awesome.
I'm going to preface this by saying it smells like gin. I
Framer.
keep coming back to it. I keep getting that green pine and that gin, like juniper spice.
Pine. So we often talk about that craft, the
It's here.
very common craft note
In
of
spades.
pine, sweet hay, musty, fresh hay, but in a barn. But usually the hay note from craft is going to be dominant. This is a dominant pine note. I'm going to put pine at the top of the list there.
Oh, you can...
Well,
This one-
and then on the second approach, I'm rethinking my pine priority.
So remember the last whiskey we tried that was maple, and it didn't taste like maple, but it just added this really complex, interesting flavor to the whiskey?
Okay.
This one tastes like it was finished in a maple barrel.
Okay.
Like the barrel wasn't totally dry before they filled it again. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean?
I don't.
I get the very sweet maple note.
I'll give it a second. I'll give it a second attempt here. I'm looking for the maple. I'm not getting maple. I'm getting some interesting sweet tea notes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's mixing with all the flavor of the whiskey, but it is sweetened. Like sweetened to the level of sweet tea.
Yeah.
Like if you go order sweet tea in a restaurant and they bring you already sweetened tea,
No,
it is that sweet.
Yes. But for me, you're saying there's a maple note, and I'm saying, no, it's just a sweet tea note. Like the sweetened tea is what I'm tasting. A little bit of like a menthol layer. You know the cough drops?
Yeah.
Like a menthol layer.
It's funny, I was thinking of the menthol cigarette, actually, because the smoky
I've never had them. Only things I've ever had are
not lived.
Only things I've ever tried are cigars and vapes. And then I'm on like the fourth or fifth approach. Mm-hmm. This is again changing it up a little bit. It's evolving.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the Pinhook because this is just too sweet for me.
That's interesting because we're on different. This occasionally happens.
We just took two different paths.
You're saying it's getting too sweet. For me, it's getting more and more like that menthol medicinal note.
Not me. I just get sugar on sugar.
Well, no, don't get me wrong.
It's still sweet.
The sugary sweetness, like the super saturated sweet tea element is still there, but the body of that whiskey and then the finish are going to be this menthol medicinal note combined with that sweetness, but it shows up halfway through and then it stays with you in the finish.
Of these two, I prefer the Pinhook.
Yeah, right on. The Pinhook.
Any comments left?
Okay, this is Ross Burge.
I like this.
There's a crinkle. I'm trying to read the name. Ross Burge. Let's say Burge. This group is magical. I joined yesterday, then found this bottle for which I've been searching for months today.
And you know what? We're going to take full credit for that.
We totally did that.
Yeah.
That was...
You're welcome. That's how we help out new members. Yeah.
Then we got Jacob Hejeng Swinson. Jacob Swinson, we'll say. I know this is a bit late, but am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And he's got a screenshot, a moment in time from the channel.
And look, he's pointing to this.
The Baileys? We have Baileys in the vault, apparently. All right, right on.
Every once in a while, someone brings in a flavored thing, and it somehow ends up in the vault. And it takes us a while to realize that somebody did it.
Right.
Let's just say I didn't realize Bailey's was over there until he took a scrooshot.
What is Bailey's?
It's Bailey's is just cream and alcohol.
So it's not a whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not a whiskey.
No.
Okay.
No.
And now
look at that percentage. There it is. 17%. It's liqueur.
The character of this breakfast blend for me has so completely changed on the nose from what the first approach was. Now it is almost like sour on the nose.
I got that from the beginning.
Yeah, it's just I am more equipped to go on an intricate journey, and you are just like a cudgel of tasting.
but I taste by brute force.
Right. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink,
may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.